Members, is there anything that you would like to raise on the agenda, or are you happy to adopt the agenda as proposed? By show of hands, members, if you are happy to adopt the agenda as proposed. Thank you, Mr. Mkize. Thank you, Ms. Mpungose. Mr. Gumede, thank you. I also support the adoption of the agenda. Thank you very much, members. The agenda is now adopted. We are on declaration of interest. Members, is there anything that you would like to declare by exception? Otherwise, the forms have been uploaded for your completion and submission to Mr. Dlamini. By show of hands, members, if there's any verbal interest to be declared by exception. None? Okay, members, just remember to complete the forms and submit to Mr. Dlamini. I would like to go straight then to item number 5 on the substantive issues that are for discussion today. The first report is the preliminary assessment of a Goli gas application for the maximum price. Please take the members through this application, introduce it, and emphasize on the key highlights.
Morning, Chair, and good morning to the members. This submission is a preliminary assessment of Goli Gas's maximum gas price application for the period 1 March 2023 to 28 February 2024. Table 2 provides a summary, Chair, of the analysis of this application. The main areas of differences were experienced in the trading cost and the profit component. Table 7 indicates the areas in the...
We lost you for a moment, and if you can try and project your voice, please, so that people can hear you. And please take the people through what has been applied for the amount that has been applied for the methodology that has been used here in analyzing this, and then you deal with the analysis itself and the reason for the differences.
Thank you, Chair. I'll try my best to raise my voice, Chair. So the table 2 in the application, in the submission, is a summary of the application and NESA's assessment of the application. The maximum price that Goli Gas has applied for is 147.60 Rand per gigajoule, and NESA's assessment of this application resulted in a maximum gas price of 136 Rand and 70 cents. So the difference between the two is 7.4%. The application is in compliance with the maximum gas price methodology, which is the cost plus methodology that was used. The methodology that was used. When we proceed to table 8 of the submission, 7, I beg your pardon, of the submission, it provides then an indication of the areas where we experienced differences in the trading cost application or component. The areas of differences were in the work calculation and as well as the operating expense calculation. So in terms of the work calculation, NESA analyzed the beta that was used by the licensee, and there was difference in the sources of information that was used between the licensee and NESA. So therefore, this resulted then in a reduction in the beta. Hence, then the weighted average capital, there's a slight then variance there of 0.7. And then when we proceed to the operating expenses, NESA did a prudency assessment in some of the operating costs that were applied by the licensee. And NESA then analyzed the employee expenses, and these were increasing by more than inflation, and there were no justification in terms of why these operating or employee-related costs were increasing above inflation. Therefore, NERSA then disallowed the increases above inflation and aligned the employee costs with inflation. Hence, then there's a difference with the operating costs applied for by the licensee vis-a-vis NERSA's assessment. And because of the differences in the work and the operating expenses, then the tax calculation between NERSA and the licensee were different and resulted in the difference of 19.6%. Chair, our recommendations are on page 13, which is on bullet point 14.1. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Members, the submission is open for discussion, for guidance, if there's guidance from the members on this submission. By show of hands, members, if you have anything to raise on this submission. So if members are happy then with the introduction and the submissions, I would like to take members to the recommendations that are on page, on the covering submission here. Just want to look for the page. It's page 13, the overstamped pages. The recommendation on paragraph 14 is that the PGS is requested to note the discussion document on a GOLI gases application for the maximum price for the period 1st March 2023 until February 2024. And that discussion document is attached as Annexure A. And the second decision is for the PGS to approve the publication of this discussion document for public comment and the confidential information being withheld. Members, by show of hands, if you happy to take these two decisions on this submission. Thank you, Ms. Mbongose. Thank you, Mr. Gumede. Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. I also support. Thank you, Advocate Stole, and welcome. Thank you so much. All right, as we step off this agenda item, we now move on to item number 6, which is the final assessment of the Natural Gas Vehicles Pty Ltd's application for maximum price of gas. Please take the matter as read and also touch on the consultation and comments received during that process. Introduce the submission.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning to you, Madam Chair, members of the PGS, and my fellow colleagues. Through you, Madam Chair, I'll take the submission as read. The submission before this committee, Madam Chair, it's a final assessment of natural gas vehicles application for maximum price of gas for the period of 1 May 2023 to April 2024. Madam Chair, the purpose of the submission is to request the PGS to recommend to the energy regulator for NGV's applications together with the publication of reason for the decision attaches Annexure A. On the 22 June, Madam Chair, the energy regulator received NGV's application for the maximum price of application for the period of 1 May 2023 to 30 April 2024. Madam Chair, I would like to highlight to the members of the PGS to say that all the information that were requested in the discussion document, Madam Chair, were provided to the energy regulator, and we did a thorough verifications and validations on the figures for the area of concern from the OPEX point of view, Madam Chair. The evidence that we provided, Madam Chair, we requested the audited financial statements, the full asset register. So we did scrutinize those costs that the NGV is applying for. And Madam Chair, I would like to highlight to the members of the PGS that all those costs that the applicant is applying for this maximum price, Madam Chair, it's in line with as per their evidence provided to the energy regulator. Madam Chair, from NERSA finals assessment point of view, Madam Chair, on paragraph 4.7, we provide a table where we show a summary of NERSA and the NGV's application for the maximum price of gas. On paragraph 4.8, Madam Chair, the difference between the NERSA and the applicant's calculation, Madam Chair, really shown in overall difference of 3.8%, and the main drivers of the variance between the energy regulator, Madam Chair, and the applicants were necessitated mainly by the profit component. And reason for that, Madam Chair, I would like to state that energy regulator used the latest informations, and whereas the applicants use the previous published information, hence the variance we have, that variance of 14.1%, Madam Chair. I would like to request the PGS, Madam Chair, for recommendations. It is proposed that the PGS recommend to the energy regulator for the approval of NGV maximum price of application for the period of 1 May 2023 to 30 April 2024, together with the publication of the reason for the decision, Madam Chair, attached as Annexure A. Our recommendation are found on page 9, paragraph 14.1. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Malele. Members, the submission is open for discussion and for any guidance or any clarification that members may be seeking on this submission. By show of hands, members, if you have any. If none, members, I would like to take you to the recommendations, and the recommendations are on page
9, Madam Chair.
Thank you. On page 9, paragraph 14, it is the Pipe Gas Subcommittee is requested to recommend to the energy regulator to approve NGV's maximum price application. And secondly, to approve the publication of the reasons for decision as attached in Annexure here as Annexure A, with the confidential information highlighted in yellow being withheld. By show of hands, members, if you are in agreement with the two recommendations. Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. Thank you, Ms. Mpungose. Thank you, Mr. Gumede. Thank you, Mr. Pukula. Thank you, Advocate Sitole. You're welcome, Mr. Pukula. We received the apology for your you joining slightly.
Apologies that I was late. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Mr. Pukula. All right. Thank you very much, members. We now moving on to item number 7, final assessment of the VGN. Application for the maximum price of gas.
Thank you, Chairperson. This is
just hold on. Mr. Pukula, your hand is still up. Is it a legacy hand?
Chair, it is. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, you may proceed then.
Thanks, Chairperson. This is the final assessment of Virtual Gas Network or VGN's application for the maximum price of gas for the period 1 May 2023 until 30 April 2024. Chair, VGN is applying for a maximum price of 299.66 cents per gigajoule in terms of the cost plus approach as stipulated in the methodology to approve maximum prices of gas. The differences in between NERSA and VGN's calculations are due to calculations of the trading cost and the profit component, and the overall difference, Chairperson, is below 1%. In terms of the trading cost, the difference is in the REP calculation. Here, there's an item that NERSA excluded in its assessment after verification of additional information that was submitted by the licensee. And that item, Chair, relates to a project that has been halted, and those assets that relate to that project are not fully commissioned. So they were not included in NERSA's calculation of the REP. Another difference, Chair, in the trading cost was the weighted average cost of capital calculation, where the differences were mainly due to the timing of the data used between NERSA and the licensee. Now, Chair, the last component in the trading cost that contributed to the difference is the tax calculation. Here, the difference emanates from the fact that NERSA defaulted to requirements of the tariff guidelines in its tax calculation, whereas VGN used a taxable income method in determining their tax as per the Income Tax Act. Now, in the determination of the profit component, NERSA followed the methodology, whereas the licensee had a slight deviation where it made adjustments in the total cost it used in its calculation of the profit component. Chair, we recommend that the PGS recommends to the energy regulator to approve VGN's maximum price for the period 1 May 2023 until 30 April 2024, and approve also the publication of the results for decision. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you, Nkosimpile. Members, the submission is open for discussion. If members have anything to raise on this specific submission, by show of hands, members, if you have any. Mr. Mkhize, please go ahead.
Thanks, Chairperson, and thanks to the presenter. I would love to know here, like, when we're talking of acquisition cost of gas, are we always using the weighted average molecule cost of gas, or it can be some other form of average? I just want to first of all just to check on that if we've standardized on that. And then also, I would just like to know that just to confirm, with regard to the assets that are not yet in use, we would go for an option where once they are operational, then they are included in the RAB. Now the question, I know that for some as well in the past, their projections have proven not to be accurate enough. But from a point of view of ensuring, steady tariffs, is there any reason precluding a situation where one would factor them in based on the date provided when they are going to be operationalized, just to make sure that the issues of clawback, etc., are minimized? I would just like to understand that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. Can you please respond to the two questions? Clarify exactly what is entailed on the acquisition cost. What are they? And then secondly, with regards to the admission of the assets into that, in this case, it will be the TRAP, the Trading Regulatory Asset Base. Can you clarify those two?
Yes, thank you, Chairperson. In terms of acquisition cost, Chairperson, the methodology stipulates that the licenses should include the cost of the gas molecule. Now, in situations where the licensee has different suppliers, then they have to use a weighted volume average. So, Chairperson, Mr. Mkhize is correct there in that it's a weighted volume average where the licensee or the trader will have different suppliers. Now, in terms of the assets that are not operational at this stage, Chairperson, they are not included until or once they are in operation or they are commissioned. Now, with the licensee, VGN at this stage, they do not have a date or a projected time where the assets will be fully operational. So at this stage, they had litigation processes that they undertook regarding the matter, but at this stage or currently, there is no sight of when they will be fully commissioned. So until such a time, we will not be able to include them in the RAB, Chair. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Mr. Mkhize, any follow-up on that, or are you happy with the response?
Excuse me, I'm covered in view of the fact that even the applicant is not sure of the date when these assets will come into operation. So I'm covered in that regard, as well as the weighted average, as long as it is used consistently throughout. Thank you.
Yes. All right. Thank you very much. All right. With that, members, I would like, if there's no further questions, I would like to then take you to the recommendations that are on page 7 of the submission. Paragraph 14 of the recommendations, the PGS is requested to recommend to the energy regulator to approve the VGN's application for maximum price for the period 1st May 2023 until 30 April 2024. The second decision is to request the PGS to recommend to the energy regulator to approve the publication of the reasons for decision for the VGN's maximum price. Is attached as Annex A, and the confidential information is highlighted in yellow. By show of hands, members, if you're happy to approve the recommendations. Thank you, Mr. Kumete. Thank you, Ms. Mpongose. Thank you, Mr. Pukula. Thank you, Mr. Mkize. I also support. Thank you, Advocate Sithole. Thank you, members. We step off this agenda item. We're going to item number 8 of the agenda, which is the final assessment of Novos Energy's maximum price application. Please take the matter as read and highlight the key issues out of this submission.
Thank you, Chair. This report is on the final assessment of Novo Energy's application.
Your voice, please, Mr. Ngobeni.
Yes. Sorry, Chair. This report is on the final assessment of Novo Energy's application for a maximum price of gas for the period 1 May 2023 to 30 April 2024. The application was received on the 5th of June 2023, and the Novo Energy used the cost plus methodology as per NESA's methodology. Table 2 provides a summary of the application by Novo and NESA, and as per Table 2 of the submission, Chair, Novo is applying for a maximum gas price of 333 rand and 62 cents. However, NESA's assessment has resulted in a maximum gas price of 328 rand and 9 cents, which is a difference of 1.7%, Chair. And the differences are mainly based on the trading cost component. If we go to page 14, table 8, Chair, of the submission, it provides a summary of NESA's assessment of the trading cost. And from the summary, it can be noted that the differences were as a result of the net working capital calculation. NESA recalculated the net working capital balances and confirmed the balances for payables and receivables. However, limited the operating cash balances to the 45 days as per the methodology. Then the second difference that can be highlighted, Chair, is in the work calculation. The main reason is that Novo applied for an equity market risk premium. However, NESA used a small market risk, a small stock risk premium, which resulted then in a slight difference between the work, as well as that there's a difference in the beta calculation as well, where the sources of data that were used by Novo were Bloomberg, and the dates that were used were for June 2023. However, NESA's benchmarks are determined based on using data from Bloomberg and the date of December 2022 as the date for the beta calculations. Chair, in terms of the operating expenses, there's another area where differences were assessed, and NESA did a prudence assessment on the cost and disallowed the funding costs that were applied for by Novo, as these were already catered for or could be recovered from the from the cost of capital and also the marketing costs. NESA assessed these and observed that they are similar to the market development costs that were allowed already. So those two costs have been disallowed. Chair, the recommendations are on page 17, bullet 14.1. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Members, the submission is open for discussion and for your consideration. If there are any questions from the members, you may raise your hand, members. Thank you, Mr. Bukula. You may go ahead.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, I just want to check on the table where we, I think we call it the prudency test table, where we are disallowing the marketing because it has the same name as market development. I'm not sure. I mean, it's not an amount that would be huge, but my question is it impossible that it can be a coincidence that the amount that is being used for a function called marketing will be the same as the other one? Because marketing and market development may be seen as different things, but if, because I couldn't find where those two were defined. But is it possible that it would be two different activities that just have the same amount? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Bukula. Mr. Mkiza.
Thanks, Chairperson. From my side, it's just one issue on the table in terms of the confidentiality. I see they're highlighted but not struck through. I just would like to know, starting from even table 1 there, because I think maybe you'll have the maximum price showing, but the rest being considered confidential. That is all.
Thank you, Mr. Mkize. Mr. Ngubeni and Ms. Makota, will you please respond?
Thank you, Chair. I'll start with Mr. Mkize's comment. I think it was an oversight on my part. I'll have to I have to highlight and strike out all the areas that are highlighted in yellow, and just correct that the maximum price on table 1 needs to be actually visible, and just the components need to be highlighted and not the maximum price. So I'll take those as points of enhancement, Chair, and then I'll fix those in the next submission. And in terms of Mr. Bukula's comment, is Chair, there were no clear definitions in terms of the costs as to what is market development, and what are marketing costs. However, we just did a desktop research and so that market development could encompass marketing costs. So we felt that it might be an area where there could have been a duplication. However, the number or amount is not very significant, and we could in the next submission then allow that marketing costs going forward, Chair. Thank you.
Where is the next submission? This is the final assessment and is the recommendation to the energy regulator. So what on this issue you should have requested clarification from the applicant on this aspect. And so between now and the energy regulator, you've got to also just get that, but also if you allow it, because looking at the amount, because there might be a difference between the two, if you allow it given the amount, and also just subject this to the audits that we conduct, so that you can check the two, how they are used. So you allow subject to the annual audits that are being done. Ms. Makot.
Chairperson, when we look at the additional information that was provided by Christina of Novo, you will see that they have in one of their section a marketing fee there. And the assumption that we had was that this market development is already included there in the marketing cost center that they have. However, we will again go back to the applicant to verify. And if it's different, we will allow it. Chairperson, and we will include it in the inputs for the two-pager report going to the ER. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Makoda. Mr. Pukula, are you happy with that response from Ms. Makoda?
Yes, Chair, I'm fine. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. All right, members, I would like to then take you to the recommendations. The recommendations are on page is it? Mr. Ngobe?
Page 17, Chair, sorry.
Page 17 is quite a long submission. So on page 17, the request is for the PGS to recommend to the energy regulator to approve the maximum price application for Novo, and also to approve the publication of the reasons for decision with the confidential information highlighted in yellow being withheld. And also this on the issue of the marketing cost that is highlighted there, the team will clarify the marketing development and the marketing cost with the applicant, and then they will include the explanation in the two-pager as queried by the PGS, and we will then consider it, that part at that stage when it is at the energy regulator, just that part, whether to admit those costs or not to admit. By show of hands, members. Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. Thank you, Ms. Mbongose. Thank you, Mr. Pukula. Thank you, Mr. Kumede. I also support Advocate Stole. Are you still with us? All right. Thank you, members. I would like to step off this item and go to item number 9, which is the quarterly report on the maximum price calculations for July, August, and September 2023. Please introduce this submission and why it is here for the 3 months.
Morning, Madam Chair, members of the PGS, my fellow colleagues. Madam Chair, I'll take the submission as read. The submission before this committee, Madam Chair, really it's a quarterly report on the maximum price of gas, the maximum gas energy price calculation confirmed by the FTRM, primary responsible for pipe gas regulation. The purpose of this submission, Madam Chair, is to request the PGS to note the quarterly report on the maximum gas energy price calculation for the period of July, August, and September 2023, which were confirmed by the FTRM, primary responsible for pipe gas regulations. And the calculation, Madam Chair, are presented as an Annex A. Madam Chair, the relevancy and the significance of this calculation, really, Madam Chair, is to address the request made by the stakeholders to ensure the consistency between the energy regulator and the stakeholders' calculation, Madam Chair. And this, in addition, will minimize the discrepancies between the NERSA and the licensee of the maximum GE price calculation, Madam Chair. So our recommendation, Madam Chair, are found on page just for a minute, Madam Chair. Apology for that.
They're on page 8, Chairperson.
Yeah. Thanks, Mr. Ngumalo. Our recommendation are on page 8, Madam Chair. We therefore request the PGS to note this submission, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Members, if you have any questions on the submission, the submission is now open for discussion. By show of hands, members, if you have any questions. If none, members, I would like to then take you straight to the recommendations on page 8 of the submission. The recommendations are that the Pipe Gas Subcommittee is requested to note the quarterly report on the maximum gas energy price calculations for July, August, and September 2023, which were confirmed, not approved. The FTRM does not have powers to approve. The energy regulator had already approved, but the FTRM is tasked by the energy regulator to just confirm the way the calculation has been done. And for publication on the NERSA website. So the approved there is replaced with confirm. That is paragraph 14. Members, by show of hands, if you are in agreement with that recommendation to note. Thank you, Mr. Kumete. Thank you, Mr. Bukula. Thank you, Advocate Stole. Thank you, Mr. Mkhize, and thank you, Ms. Bongose. I also confirm I also note the confirmation. We now move on to item number 10, the second quarter report on the compliance with the license conditions for the operation of gas transmission, distribution, and other gas trading assets.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning again to members of PGS and my fellow colleagues. This is the second quarter report on the compliance with license condition for the operation of the licensed gas facilities by Sasol Gas in the following areas: the Alton West-Rand Krugersdorp Transmission Area in Gauteng, Al Road Distribution Area in Gauteng, Durban South Transmission Area in KwaZulu-Natal, Mayberg Distribution Area in KwaZulu-Natal, Prospecton, and Umgeni Distribution and Transmission Area in the KwaZulu-Natal province. During the second quarter of the 2023-2024 financial year, the compliance team inspected 20 sites, as shown in Table 1, from page 5 to 6, where the gas transmission and distribution is taking place. The purpose of the inspection is to monitor compliance with the license conditions. During this compliance inspection, 2 instances of non-compliance were discovered at 6 facilities, and they were due to 1, dry vegetation posing risk of fire at customer meter station, and 2, absence of the pressure gauge on the inlet of the high pressure customer meter station. In its response to the dry vegetation at customer meter station, Sasol Gas indicated that it had communicated the cleaning of the customer meter station to its customers, and it will provide proof of the clean customer meter station to NERSA by the end of October 2023. With regards to the uninstalled pressure gauge at the inlet of the Egoli Gas Robertsham HPCMS, it is recommended that Sasol Gas be issued with a notice of non-compliance with Section 26 of the Gas Act for failing to comply with Condition 13 of the license. We also recommend to the members of the PGS to note the second quarter report on compliance with license condition for the operation of the licensed gas facilities by Sasol Gas in the areas mentioned in paragraph 17.1.1a to F, and this recommendation, Chair, they are on page 11 of the submission. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. Khopolo. Members, the submission is before you for a discussion and for any questions of clarity you may have. Mr. Bukula, I'm not sure if the hand is a legacy hand or you want to raise a question at this point.
Yeah, I'm struggling with my controls. It's a legacy, and apologies.
All right.
Get it off somehow.
All right. No problem. All right. Any questions, members? Are you happy with the submission and the findings as well as the recommendations? If no questions, then I would like to take the members to the recommendations. Recommendations are on page 10 up to 11. The PGS is requested to note the second quarter report on compliance with license conditions relating to Sasol Gas's operation of the facilities that are listed under 17.1.1, being the facilities in Alton West Rand, Al Road, Durban, Bank distribution area in KZN, Prospecting and Umgeni. There's also an extra A there that shows what was found and the signatures there. Members, are you happy then to note the report and the recommendations? Thank you, Mr. Kumete. Thank you, Ms. Mpungose. Thank you, Advocate Stolle. Thank you, Mr. Pukula. Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. I also note. Thank you very much. We are on item number 11, which is the second quarter report on construction licenses and in terms of the progress that is made for the licenses that were issued to construct the facilities. Please take the matter as read and take us through the key issues in this submission.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, Chair, the members, management, and the colleagues. This is the second quarter progress report on the construction licenses which were issued by the National Energy Regulator of South Africa during the 2023 to 2024 financial year. The energy regulator has granted 112 licenses from September 2006 to date for the construction of the gas facilities around the Gauteng, Free State, Mpumalanga, and KwaZulu-Natal provinces. Licenses have invested about 3.66 billion rands on the gas infrastructure in the Republic of South Africa in terms of the licenses which were granted by the energy regulator. The amount that has been spent on each project is illustrated in Annexure A of the report. At the current moment, Chair, the status of the completed construction licenses is 112, and the list of these completed facilities is highlighted in Annexure A of the report, whereas the status of the revoked construction licenses remains at 7. The list of these revoked construction licenses is depicted in Annexure B. The team has received 2 project reports from Sasol Gas Chair during the second quarter of the 2023 to 2024 financial year, namely the Sasol Gas license for the construction of the gas transmission facility in the Wadeville area and the Sasol Gas license for the construction of the gas transmission facility in the Owl Road area. The details of these construction projects are highlighted from paragraph 6.6 to 6.42 in the report. In terms of the financial impact, Chair, the gas infrastructure project cost of the gas transmission facility in the Wadeville area has amounted to 11.2 million rands, whereas the project cost for the gas transmission facility in the Owl Road area has amounted to 6.7 million rands. According to the progress report, the Wadeville construction project is 100% complete, and the Owl Road construction project is 85% complete. Chair, we therefore request that the members should note the construction project report for the second quarter of the 2023 to 2024 financial year, and to further note that there were no new construction projects that were undertaken during the second quarter of the 2023 to 2024 financial year. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Members, the construction report is before you for discussion and for clarity. By show of hands, members, if you have any questions of clarity on this report. All right, members, if none, I would like to take you to the recommendations. What page is the recommendation, Morongwa?
Page 10. Chair.
On page 10. Okay, members, the members of the PGS are requested to note the construction progress report for the first quarter of 2023-24 financial year, and also to note that no new construction projects were undertaken in the first quarter of this financial year. By show of hands, members, if you agree with the noting. Mr. Mkhize, thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Pukula. Thank you, Ms. Mpungose. Thank you, Mr. Kumete. I also note Advocate Stolle. Okay. All right, members. We then move on to item number 12, which is the gas volume balance report for the month of August. Please take the matter as read.
Thank you, Chairperson. The purpose of this submission is to request the Pipe Gas Subcommittee to note the social gas volume balance report for the month of August. During the month of August, ZESO imported approximately 14 million gigajoules of natural gas to the South African market, which sums up the expected gas transportation agreements, volumes, and other importers, in other words, Kwande and South Africa. The percentage variance of August 2023 was 0.10%, which is within the acceptable limits of the agreed international benchmark. It is therefore recommended that the Pipe Gas Subcommittee should note the social gas volume balance report for the month of August. I thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Mr. Maluka. Members, the gas volume balance report for the month of August 2023 has been presented. Any questions of clarity, members, from this report? If none, members are then requested to note the Sasol gases gas volume balance report as presented. That is for the month of August 2023. By show of hands, members. Thank you, Mr. Mkize. Thank you, Advocate Stole. Thank you, Ms. Mpungose. Thank you, Mr. Pukula. Thank you, Mr. Kumete. I also note. Members, we've come to the end of the regulatory matters that are open to the members of the public, and I would like at this point to thank the members of the public who took interest in today's proceedings of the PGS meeting of the energy regulator. Thank you very much. We would like to close the meeting now so that we can consider governance matters. If you can kindly stop the live streaming system, Mr. Matech.